Good evening all. Today I am going to share a few information about hashing. What is hashing actually? Hashing is the transformation of string of characters into a usually shorter fixed length value or key that represents the original string. It is a cryptographic technique that produces hash values using an algorithm or hash function for accessing data or for security purposes. A hash value, or simply hash, also called a message digest, is a number generated from a string of text. This hash is substantially smaller than the text itself. In hashing, a fixed length message digest is created out of a variable length message. The digest is normally much smaller than the message. Of course, hashing plays a vital role in security system that creates a unique fixed length signature for a message or data set. Many people commonly use them to compare sets of data. Since a hash is unique to a specific message, even minor changes to that message result in a dramatically different hash. Therefore, it is very resistant to tampering. Hashing also refers to search technique. Like a method of accessing data records where search time is independent of the number of the elements in the collection. Hashing is used to index and retrieve items in a database because it is faster to find the item using the shorter hashed key than to find it using the original value. For example, consider a list of names in a database. Each of these names would be the key in the database for that person's data. A database search mechanism would first have to start looking character by character across the name for matches until it found the match. But if the names were hashed, it might be possible to generate a unique 4-digit key or index for each name. So you might get something like numbers. A search for any name would first consist of computing the hash value using the same hash function used to store the item and then comparing for match using that value. This is much more efficient than searching through all the records till the matching record is found, because to find a match across 4 digits, each having only 10 possibilities, is faster than across an unpredictable value length where each character has 26 possibilities. What is the need for hashing, or what is the significance of hashing? Hashing is used to index and retrieve items in a database since it is faster to find the item using the shorter hashed key than to find it using the original value. In addition to faster data retrieval, hashing is also used to encrypt and decrypt digital signatures. Hashing plays a vital role in security systems where it is used to ensure that transmitted messages have not been tampered with. The sender generates a hash of the message, encrypts it, and sends it with the message itself. The recipient then decrypts both the message and the hash, produced another hash from the received message, and compares the two hashes. If they are the same, there is a very high probability that the message was transmitted intact. Okay. What a hash function is? A hash function is a formula or an algorithm that takes large data sets of variable length as input and returns smaller data sets of fixed length as output. The values returned by hash function are called hash values, or hash codes, or hash sums, or checksums, or simply hashes. Hash function creates hash value in such a way that it is extremely unlikely that some other text will produce the same hash value. Hash table, also called as hash map, is used to implement an associative array that can map keys to values. Hash table uses a hash function to complete an index into an array of buckets or slots from which the correct value can be found. What is cryptographic hash function? It is a hash function that takes an arbitrary block of data as input and returns a fixed size bit string as output. The returned value is called the cryptographic hash value. Cryptographic hash function creates hash value in such a way that any accidental or intentional change to that data will change the hash value. Therefore, it is extremely unlikely that some other text will produce the same hash value. The data to be encoded are often called as the message, and the hash value is sometimes called the message digest or simply digest. In cryptographic hash function, even a small changes in the input would cause a large change in the output. For example, let us consider for an illustration the potential use of a cryptographic hash as follows. Alice poses a tough maths problem to Bob and claims she has solved it. Bob would like to try it by himself, but would yet like to be sure that Alice is not bluffing. Therefore, Alice writes down her solution, computes its hash, and tells Bob the hash value while keeping the solution secret. Then, when Bob comes up with the solution himself a few days later, Alice can prove that she had the solution earlier by revealing it and having Bob hash it and check that it matches the hash value given to him before. Use of hash function. What are the uses of hash function? Use of cryptographic hash functions. Cryptographic hash functions have many information security applications such as digital signature, message authentication codes, other forms of authentication. Hash functions are primarily used to generate fixed length output data that acts as a shortened reference to the original data. This is useful when the output data is too cumbersome to use it in its entity. For example, consider a list of persons' names. Here, name of each person is of variable length. Searching for a person's name in the list is slow, time consuming. But if each name could be hashed to a fixed length integer, then searching and retrieving each name will be performed in faster with constant time. Hash functions are also used to accelerate table, lookup, or data comparison tasks such as finding items in a database, detecting duplicated or similar records in a large file, finding similar stretches in DNA sequences, and so on. So, two commonly used hash functions are MD5 and SHA1. MD5 is nothing but message digest. Several MD hash algorithms are designed by round reversed MD2, MD4 and MD5. The recent version MD5 is more secured than the previous versions. It divides the messages into blocks of 5 and 2 and creates 128-bit digest. SHA is secure hash algorithm. The standard was developed by NIST and it is mostly based on MD5. Several versions of SHA were released. SHA-1, SHA-224, SHA-256, SHA-384 and SHA-512. SHA-1 returns a string of 160 bits. Both MD5 and SHA-1 hash functions are built with the Merkle-Damgard construction. Application of hash function in cryptography. Hash functions are used for verifying the integrity of message and file, verifying the password for secure login, fingerprints of keys, authentication, and digital signatures. So these are the main applications of hash function in cryptography. Hope everyone would have understood the basic concepts of hash. Myself, Dr.A.Vaniprabha, Associate Professor, EC Department, SNS College of Engineering. Thank you for listening.